So hello again. In this talk, we are going to just give you an update on our DDC specs. 2 years ago, Tuan on my team had contributed the version 1 of the DDC spec. And like I said before, we have it in both our core running with the DriveNuts NOS and then in the edge running XR today. So in the original design, we had the DCP-1 line card. Again, these two line cards are based on the Jericho 2 chipset. So the DCP-1 is a 40 by 100 gig. The DCP-2 is a 10 by 400 gig. And both these boxes have the 13 by 400 gig fabric to interconnect the pizza boxes back to the fabric. So today we use the UFI-Space hardware, and I mentioned the NOS. On the fabric box, we went with the 2 by 2 Ramon chips, so to get 48 400 gig fabric. And I'm going to explain some of that fabric configuration later on. The DCM box, this is the internal switch, the 10 gig switch to pass along your fib updates, all that to the line cards. That's based on an Acton AS5916. It's a Qumran MX space box. And then for the route processor, we are using a HP DL380 Gen 10 server. Okay, so that's this configuration that's out there in production. It is certified. And in this talk, I'm going to talk about two new options that we have in terms of the silicon, and also one sort of innovative option to sort of collapse a couple of these box functions into a combo box. So we will talk about that. All right, so maybe I can just ask you to look at this table here. So what we are sort of submitting or proposing here is the DCP-3, and the DCP-3 is based on the next-gen Broadcom silicon. It's the 2 by J2C+. So it's the next gen of the Jericho 2, but there are two of these chips in the same box. The DCP-4 is a J2C box, not to be confused with the 2 by J2C+. This is sort of like a half a Jericho 2, but it gives you better scale. And especially in like our most of world and other places where you need a native 25 gig or a 10 gig, we don't want to break out the Jericho 2 box, because if you break out the, first of all, you only get like for every 100 gig, you can only break out 4 by 10 gig. And if you do the breakout, you can only use ports 0 to 20. Ports 21 to 40 go wasted. So for that reason, you're not getting enough bang for the buck when you take a Jericho 2 and do the breakout. So we are proposing you can use the J2C box, which can get you a better, more native 10 gig or 25 gig support. And I'm going to talk about the DCCM1, where we are proposing you can take the DCM functionality, the DCC functionality, combine them into one box. And this option was not available 2-3 years ago. Now with the sort of the innovations that have happened, this is now a possibility that we can even think about. And I know there's going to be a timing talk later, but we just sort of put in the RFC 1588 to carry the timing across the DDC. We put that into this spec also. Okay, so this is the 2 by J2C+ box. So roughly think of it as 3 Jericho 2s can be replaced by this one box. It can give you 36 400 gig front panel capacity. That is if you don't have the OP2 or the TCAM. If you have an OP2 or a TCAM, it drops to 32, so which is 12.8 tera. Still pretty impressive capacity increase from what we have. And okay, I'm going to talk about the block diagram, but if you are running this in a standalone configuration, you do need to use the loopback connector on the fabric port. That's because the way the SerDes is routed. I'm going to show that to you. Okay, yeah, that's the main thing. Oh, but the biggest advantage here is you can also get the boundary clock implementation with this box, which is not possible on the J2. All right. So this is the high-level block diagram. So sort of it looks like the J2 box, but really the main differences are now that you have two of the Broadcom chips, the J2C+, in a back-to-back configuration. I'm going to talk about how the SerDes is routed in the next slide. And the other biggest change is this Class C Mac processor is now introduced. So what it does is it enables the timing to be regenerated and it functions as a boundary clock. So that enables RFC 1588 timing to be carried across the DDC. Okay. All right. So like I told you before, we have these Ramon box, this DCF box with two Ramones. So the way we do it is from each J2C, we take 4 by 50 gig SerDes to each QSFP DD. So there is 4 coming from number 1 J2C plus, another 4 coming from the second J2C plus, and it goes into the QSFP DD cage, where you get the 8 by 50 gig or the 400 gig fabric port. If it was deployed in a standalone, we would put in a fabric loopback connector. But if you're deploying it in a DDC with multiple pizza boxes interconnected in a cluster, now when the 400 gig AOC comes here, at this point we break it back into 4 SerDes, PAM4 50 gig coming to this Ramon and the other 4 coming over here. This is sort of a conscious decision we took because there are options where I think you could do this fabric box in a 1 RU with 1 Ramon. But for whatever reason, we said like all our pizza boxes, white boxes would be 2 RU, and we picked this design. Okay, and now I'm going to switch gears and talk about the J2C again. Okay, so this is now a half of a J2. So again, in places where you need a native 10 gig, a native 25 gig, this is a good box because you get 64, like right here, you get 64 ports to do 1 gig, 10 gig, or 25 gig. And then on top of that, you can take these 10 by 100 gig QSFP28 and you could break them into 4 by 10 gig. So you have 64, now you got 10 times 4, right? So you get 94 10 gig interfaces. So it's a pretty intense 10 gig box, and especially great for like an Emacs function for us or in our most of world. And then you got this 2 100 gig QSFP28 that cannot be broken out, and I think there is a reason on the next slide for that. And as like Kai was mentioning in his talk, this box also supports the GNSS SMA, so it can be a receiver for your GPS clock. So it could function as a grandmaster. And the fact that it can connect to the fabric sort of makes it a very compelling package all around for us. Yeah. Okay, so the block diagram is here. So on the SerDes, what happens is it's not all the SerDes is uniform. So you get the 25 gig SerDes here, 64 and then 32. But then you got 8 by 50 gig PAM4 SerDes, and there you need a gearbox to get it down to 25 gig. So that's something needed in this design. I mean, based on your use case, I think in our use case, we needed more 10 giggies, so we felt like this was a necessary thing. There is the Class C Mac to do your boundary clock regeneration. And I think, and the GNSS for the Grandmaster, that's here. All right, and the one other thing we did here was we asked for the CPU module, because today, you have the Skylake processor, but like we are thinking like later on, like a year from now, if you want a more powerful horsepower. So we asked for this to be developed on like almost like a daughter board type of a module. So today we can start to develop the beta boxes on Skylake, but next year when the use case comes, we could swap out that Skylake for an Ice Lake. Gets you 20 cores, much faster processor, more threads, all that. So that's flexibility. So, and our thing is maximum rinse and repeat, maximum reuse. So we don't want to just like go with a new SKU just because it's there. We want to make it consistent and keep it operationally simple. Yeah. Okay. And in terms of the timing, the way it works is, so you have the incoming packet landing on a line card here. Let's say it's a J2C or a 2 by J2C plus. The clock gets terminated, so there is a boundary clock implementation, and then you recover and then you regenerate the point-to-point timing, and which gets dissipated over the internal management switch. So it goes to the management switch, and the management switch we did in the original DDC design, the J2, the Qumran MX box cannot support it. So you need this J2C box or the J2C plus box to do this function. And so you go via the internal management switch, it gets distributed everywhere. And you look at it and you would say, this is a little artificial, when can we send it over the fabric? I think that capability is not there now, but I think in the future, I think Jericho 3 timeframe, I think Broadcom does plan to have the clock implementation, the 1588 implementation going over the fabric. And this is just to show the hardware makes it possible. Now the NOS development is another PhD level work involved to make this a reality. But we are just contributing the spec because 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this was a known gap. Now this gap is at least fulfilled from a hardware perspective. Okay, I think I covered most of this. Again, what I'm going to talk about on the next slide is a way to bring together a couple of different boxes, the NCC, which does the route processor, the CPU, and the internal management switch into a combo box, we are calling it. So for that, we thought we would need like a more superior processor. So you could start developing it on the Skylake, and then at some point switch it to the Ice Lake. So the design does support that. And especially with AT&T going in a central office, we need to pass NEBS 3 compliance. So we don't want the ODM vendor to go and develop the box, pay for this because this is expensive, to go through the certification. We would do this only when we are 100% sure we are going to deploy, and at that point we would initiate the NEBS. Okay, so just to summarize, I'm going to start from this bullet here. So the J2C box, very a good option when you need a native 10 gig or a 25 gig, because when you do the breakout, the J2 box loses 50% of your port, so very poor bang for the buck. So you want to consider this when you need, what we are also saying is an NCP Lite, right? You need like a lesser port interface. This is a good box for it. But also it has a better route scale. So there is a 75% higher route scale and a higher queue scale compared to the DCP one. So even though the bandwidth and the switching capacity is half, you do get a higher scale with this box. And that could be powerful for a variety of reasons. The DCP3, which is the 2x J2C+, that's like 3 times the bandwidth and port density compared to a J2. And we know like some carriers are already deploying or planning to deploy this. We heard Deutsche Telekom in Europe is planning to deploy this. And we in AT&T, we may not go on to the 2x J2C. We may want to skip a generation and then go to the next generation. That's something, we will decide, because, we just, once, it go through the full certification deployment, you want to get the best bang for the buck before, and we don't want to willy-nilly switch to the next generation just because it is there. So now this box offers the same route scale as the Jericho 2, but it can support 4 times the VOQ, virtual output queues, over the Jericho 2. All right, so now this is the combo box I was mentioning. So today in a large cluster, the one with the 48 NCPs, the 48 pizza boxes, we have the 2 DCCs, the HP servers, but we have the 4 of the internal switch to cover everyone, right? You need to cover the 10 gig ports to not only the line cards, but also to the Ramon fabric boxes. So it is, you need about like 90, 94, 92 ports. So today we have 6 boxes doing this. Now, when you go to this J2C based box, the 6 boxes can collapse and become like 2 boxes. So that is sort of powerful. You sort of save on the power, space, cooling. So that's one thing. And also the second thing is for the operations team, they are not server people, they are more router people. this is like more familiar to them. And it also helps us from a security standpoint where internally we have to keep up with all the appliance level security and sign off on all that. Having like a white box based solution makes it much more easier and compelling for us. And lastly, even though, we have sort of gotten 3 parties, 4 parties together to develop this and done heroic work here, that becomes a concern sometimes. For just the DDC, you need to work with 3 suppliers. Who is the common throat to choke, right? In most cases, it's my throat to choke. So, getting to 1 or 2 hardware vendors will make the job easier in the future. So that's some of the compelling reasons behind this. So we sort of did the prep work and we sort of paused. I think we are now contributing this to the OCP, but definitely the next time we are refreshing our implementation, maybe going to the next generation of the silicon, we would be looking at this more closely and more seriously, and at that point, we will look to implement this. All right, so this is an updated spec of the DDC-1. So it's in production. It's no longer a pipe dream. It is carrying live traffic. And we encourage other providers and carriers to investigate and adopt. So thank you for your time, and I'll open up for any questions. All right, thank you.